I've had some personal transitions lately, and my kids have had some transitions lately. And, you know, I'm looking at my kids as in these transitions. And for them, they're transitions like, you know, into personal development as they become, you know, better soccer players or transitioning into a different grade or, you know, whatever it is that they're doing. Noah, my oldest son, hates change. Like he will resist change, big changes, small changes. It is not happening. He goes in dragging his heels. Zara, on the other hand, is fine with change, like personal development change, but she doesn't want to do any of the work to get there at all. Like that's just like, no, can I just kind of like skip over to, you know, where I want to be? And I was thinking about where am I in this transition? Like, where do I sit as far as accepting or resisting? And, you know, they say that change is the corridor between who you are now and who you want to be, or where you are now and where you want to be. I think personally for me, my tendencies are to like look down that corridor and it's like, I can't see the end, or it seems so fucking hard to get there. And I'm like, I just won't do it. I'm overwhelmed. I just like, nope, I'll just go, you know, I'll just stand in the doorway for a while. That is my tendency for sure, to be easily overwhelmed by that long ass Golden Gate Bridge corridor that I set for myself. But they also say that change happens when you're tired of your own bullshit. And I think being a high achieving type A personality, I'm tired of my own bullshit a lot. So I've had to find ways to, you know, override my tendencies and get in that fucking corridor. And a couple things have helped me. And I know this team, we are a team of high achiever. We are a team that sets goals for ourselves. We are not a team that's like, I'm good to play it safe. I don't need to change. If you are that kind of person, that's totally fine. But, you know, going down this corridor is hard work. So, you know, there's no need to do that if you just want to stay the same. But if you want to change, if there's something like, is that corridor really is existent for you between who you are now and who you want to be? Some of the things that have helped me, the first is to fall in love with the process. And if you can't fall in love with the process, at least commit to the process. Because I've said before that motivation, I think, is really bullshit. And I think a lot of us, if you're like me, you're really motivated and pumped up at the beginning, and then something will happen, like you will fail, or you will see people that are so much better than you, or you will see these people that are already at the end of the corridor, or it gets really tough and boring, because let's face it, most of these routines are boring. And so we stop and we like go back to the beginning of this corridor. There's got to be a commitment to the process. And I'm a huge fan of chunking it down and making baby steps. And I know I've talked about this a lot with you as far as your process to get from the beginning of the corridor to the end. If you can chunk it down, that's really the only way to go. Chunk it down and celebrate each of those chunks when you complete them. I was reminded of a story last week. I was working with Anastasia and Michelle on our new slide deck for our Fearless Public Speaking class. And I had a story in there, and I think I may have told it years ago to you, about a triathlete who was practicing in San Francisco for the swimming portion in the ocean, and got swept out to sea alone, and realized he was like in the middle of the ocean, and shore was so far he could barely see it. And what he did for himself is he would find one thing that he could focus on, that he could see, that was just, you know, 100 yards in front of him. And he would swim to that, because he said, I could get there. I can get to that place. And then when he got there, he would assess again. Can I see something else that's not too far on the horizon? Do I have the energy to get there? And he did that all the way so he got back to shore. And I really think this is the same thing that we need to do with this corridor. if there's something that means a lot, just chunk it down. It's really the only way to avoid that overwhelm. The other thing that I think is so important is remembering your why. And I know I've said this a lot, and I say this a lot when I talk about fear of public speaking, that your why has to be stronger than your fear. In this case, your why has to be stronger than all of the, like, you have to know that all this hard work and discomfort you're going to put yourself through is worth it. And reminding yourself of that why over and over, like write it down, put on a sticky note, put it wherever you need it, so that you are constantly reminding yourself before you're about, right when you're about to go, like, fuck it, I'm going back to the beginning of the corridor. In fact, I'm leaving the corridor. Remind yourself of this why. And studies show, and I think this is really true, that if your why can somehow be related to doing service for others, like the greater good of others, if you can take it farther than yourself, even if it's a health goal, thinking about if that health goal, how, then you're there, you'll be healthier for your kids, or you'll be more energetic for your family. So whatever it is that your goal, and if you can tie it in to something that's not about you, that why becomes like, you're like pouring jet fuel on that why. So reminding yourself of that why constantly. And last but not least, don't do it alone. You do not have to do it alone. Whether that's one person that's like your accountability partner or your cheerleader, or it's a whole community of people that are lifting you up. You do not have to do it alone. And I am lucky enough to have Mr. Fastbinder, not only as my husband, but as my business partner. Like, I think as a husband, he is absolutely my emotional cheerleader. Like, he never doubts for a second that I can do anything that I want. As a business partner, it's kind of nice to have your business partner also be your emotional support, because I can't fucking quit. Like, I can't resign. I have tried, you guys. There have been times when I'm like, I'm done. I'm resigning. I'm going back to teaching high school. Nope, it's not going to happen. There's like no resignation papers. Like, I can't quit. I can't fire him. Like, it's not going to happen. I've tried. He keeps coming back. So quitting is not an option. So I think that if we can find that person in our lives, or those people in our lives, to help us down this corridor. And the last thing around people in your lives, I know sometimes we have people in our lives that aren't as supportive of our goals. They maybe they're jealous. Maybe they haven't accomplished things themselves, and so they see you kind of becoming a better person, and that they want to hold you back. They don't want you to shine. Or maybe whatever it is that you are doing in the personal development world, if it's something that you used to do with them that was kind of holding you down, and you had this kind of toxic relationship, and now you're saying, I'm going to move down that corridor. I'm not going to stay here. I think we can all think of people in our lives that are not as supportive. You do not owe it to these people to tell them what your goals are, or open up to them. They don't have the right to your story, especially if you know that these people are going to hold you back or tie you down. I think a lot of times we want so desperately with those people to share, and to make them understand or support us, or encourage us, but we know they're not going to. So one of the ways I've described it before is don't give anyone your microphone. Like, don't let anyone speak into your microphone. They don't deserve it. So find the people in your life that do deserve to speak into your microphone, and take those people down the corridor with you. And I think those are, at least for me, these are the things that have helped me down this corridor. And I think also, like I said before, if you don't want to change, don't bother going down this corridor, because it's fucking hard. But I think for a lot of us, I don't know if any of you've seen European Vacation, where Chevy Chase's character gets stuck in the what's it called? The turnaround, why can't I think of the word right now? Roundabout. Thank you, Eric. Roundabout, they can't get off. They're just like stuck there. They can't find a way to get off this roundabout. I feel like that's a lot of us with our corridor. We're like stuck in this corridor and we never get out because we keep going like a couple foot forward, a couple feet back, a couple feet forward, a couple feet back. So I'm hoping that these tips for whatever it is for you in your life that is this at the end of this corridor, that these things will help you not get stuck in that corridor forever, taking 5 steps forward and then 4 steps back. And that these are really, I know that these have helped me a lot. And as far as those people that are helping you down the corridor, this team, for me, you are all those people. I told you, like, I look forward to Monday mornings. Like, I love this team and I feel so supported by this team. And I hope that you all feel supported by this team too, because this is a phenomenal team and it's so unique to have like everybody in this team with this North Star. And I can, with no shadow of a doubt, say that if went to anybody on this team and said, this is what is at the end of that corridor for me, they are going to support you. They're going to push you. They're going to do whatever it is that they need to do to help you get down that corridor. So a thank you to Greg and to this team for helping me down this corridor, and hoping that for all of you, you get out of that fucking roundabout and chunk down those big goals and find some support partners and remember your why. And that's I think that's the key for transition.